Hi, shalom friends. So here's a guy called Tom. He wakes up one morning and he says to his wife, "You know, honey, I am a zombie." She looks at him, thinks that it's probably a poor attempt at humor, and she does her usual morning routine. And then by breakfast, he says, "Honey, I am a zombie." And she says, "Listen here, I married a happy, healthy, well-adjusted human being. I did not marry a zombie." He says, "Yes, that's true, but I turned into a zombie." And she sees that he's quite serious when he says this. She says, "One second, let me give a call to your mom. You can't be a zombie." Calls up her mother-in-law, and she says, "You know, your son says he's a zombie. Would you talk to him for a moment?" Said, "Hi, Tom, how are you?" "Oh, I'm fine, Mom. I'm a zombie." He says, "Listen here, no one knows you like me. I never gave birth to a zombie." "Yes, I know, Mom, but I turned into a zombie." "Look, Tom, please, listen to your mother. When I raised you, I didn't raise you to be a zombie. You're a Tom." He says, "Mom, things change. I turned into a zombie." In the meantime, the wife sees that this is going from bad to worse, so she takes out her cell phone and calls up a family friend, Marvin, who's a psychiatrist. She says, "I gotta see you." Well, the mother says, "Tom, you're not a zombie, and have a good day." She hangs up, he hangs up, and the wife says, "Come, before we go to work, I'm going to take you to our good friend, Marvin." He says, "Okay." Comes into the office, and Marvin sees Tom. "Hi, good morning, Tom, how are you?" "Well, for a zombie, I'm pretty good." And he says, "What makes you so sure I'm a zombie? I used to know you before you were a zombie." He said, "Yeah, well, things happen like that." So he's looking, and Marvin says, "Tell me something. Can you describe a zombie? I mean, could you explain to me what a zombie is?" And he looks with pity at Marvin. "Come on, don't patronize me. Everyone knows zombie is the living dead." So Marvin says, "The living dead, they don't have blood?" He said, "Absolutely not. They're the living dead." He says, "One second." And he takes out from his desk a little pin. Says, "Come here, give me one of your fingers." Gives him a finger. He pricks it with the pin, and out comes blood. And he looks at Tom and he says, "And now what do you say?" He said, "Well, what do you know? Zombies can bleed also." That's the end of this story. What's the point? If you're convinced of something, no one can unconvince you of it. And even if you demonstrate, it means nothing, because you've made a decision that this is who you are and what you want to be. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I actually feel very bad for many, many Jews, and many non-Jews as well, that are trying to explain the position of Israel to their neighbors and to the world. And I'm thinking to myself, over 70 years, looking at the tremendous blessing that Israel has brought to the world, and as a model of decency, a model of inclusiveness, welcoming the stranger literally from every corner of the world, and their incredible heroism in trying to keep decency and morality in the Middle East, and after all of that, people don't see it. I don't think that a person who has been educated and misinformed for 20, 30, 40 years is going to change his mind after a conversation of 10 minutes. So if you want to think you're a zombie, contrary to whatever evidence there is, you'll still say there's a zombie. So if you could actually show and demonstrate and prove factually all of the good things that Israel has done, they'll respond something, yeah, but that doesn't mean they're not murderers. Just like that. So I think it's a waste of time, personally. And I would like to say something even more controversial. And again, it's just an opinion. You're not obligated to accept it, of course. But here is my opinion. Why is it that Israel has had such a difficult time in presenting its position? And why is it that intelligent spokesmen for Israel have not been successful? Well, certainly not anywhere successful the way they wanted. And I believe it's because it's coming from a place of deep insecurity. And I'll explain. Why do I want my neighbor or my, what do you call the guys downtown? Why my community to acknowledge the rightfulness or the righteousness of Israel? And perhaps the reason is not because I want them to acknowledge the truth. It's because I want to feel more secure that I'm supporting the righteous cause. And I look up in a certain way to my neighbor and to the media and to the intelligentsia. And I need them to tell me that I'm supporting a good, just cause. I need them to tell me that a Jew has a right to live. I need them to tell me that I am a person of value. And when you are on such an inferior level, where you doubt your own greatness, and then you plead for acknowledgement, please look, hear, see, feel, is my blood not any different than your blood? You're bound to fail. Because people who want to think they're zombies will always complete that. But if you're coming from a position not of weakness, but of strength, almost as if to say, I don't care what you think. I know what is right. I am defending my life, my country, my integrity, my people. And I don't care if you don't see it that way. But if you would like to understand my righteous position, here it is. I think that brazenness, that chutzpah, that holy audacity would be far more effective than all of the stuff that the Israeli government and its friends and allies are trying to do. To bring it down in a really simple thing, if you love being Jewish because you're Jewish, if you admire the state of Israel because it is a good place to be, it is a biblical land, it is a good people, then say it with conviction. We don't need the UN to say anything about us. And you don't have to waste time trying to convince the people in the office. Instead, celebrate who you are. In particular, if you're a Jew, then celebrate that. Don't hide it. You don't need anyone to support you. You are supported by thousands of years of tradition and by the Almighty God Himself. Let's hope and pray it'll come a time, very, very soon, that the world will be forced to acknowledge the truth. And at that time, every person wavering and undecided will be able to see the light, literally, and go by its light to the Holy Land. Amen.